So I'm Jess. This is my company. I was a surrogate about 9 years ago, and when I became a surrogate, I realized that there was not a lot of surrogate-focused matching organizations. And I don't mean to diminish the side of the intended parents, of course. But a lot of times I found that people didn't really give a lot of attention to talking to the surrogates before they would have them sign up. So I think it's significantly important that people really talk to surrogates and answer their questions before they just fill out a lot of applications and paperwork. So that's kind of what we do differently, is that we really, like when we onboard with you, we have consultations, we have Zoom meetings, we get to know who you are, and we make sure that we're the right matching organization for you. We also do that with your surrogates. So the first thing they do is they set up a phone call with me. They set up a Zoom meeting. I answer all of their questions. I make sure that they're comfortable with surrogacy and that it's the right choice for them and their family. So that we're going into this with the highest level of respect for all parties. And that's kind of a little bit of what we do differently. We take the time to do that first step before we ask them to fill out paperwork. Number two, the thing that really is kind of very significant here, you probably have noticed, there are a lot of different organizations. A lot of them work across the country. We focus on New England and New York. So all of our parents, our surrogates, and our clinics we work with are in this region. So this way, again, it's very personal, it's intimate, it's supported, and you can make it to your delivery day. Right? We don't want you to be trying to get on a flight or make it because you just found out from your surrogate she's 2 weeks early and she's in labor, and you're trying to get a flight. That's hard. Even if you're 5 hours away, it's still hard. So it alleviates a little bit more of the stress by keeping it closer and more personal. You can also likely get to more of those appointments and be at the 20-week ultrasound and significant points along the way and have a different connection. We kind of look at it like you're kind of in the same snow globe with your surrogate, right? Because you're demographically in this space, so you're having the same weather patterns, you're having the same experiences. And so if you're watching the weather 2 weeks out and there's a snowstorm coming and your delivery is somewhere in the middle of that, you may want to get to that location early, right? And you can plan for that, but if you're across the country, your surrogate's in Nevada, but you're over here, you're not looking at the same demographics, you're not looking at the same weather patterns, you're not looking at the same kind of life events. So we really try to do that for you and make it a little bit more personalized like that. So that's kind of just a little bit about us. There are so many answers and so many questions and so many things I can do for you in this very short 8-minute window. So are there any specifics you guys want answered? Yes.
I just want to clarify, you only work with clients within the New York and Vermont regions, right?
Yes. There is a slight little differentiation there that we do work with international clients as long as they're working with a clinic in this region. If that makes sense, because it's really about keeping the surrogates from having to travel across the country because it's just a lot of extra time. Yes?
What is the current wait time?
This is a very interesting question, which they're all long. We tell people 12 to 18 months as, worst case scenario, but we honestly haven't actually hit 12 months. So we're still under that window, but we do say worst case scenario because if something shifts in our, in our current onboarding, something like that. Any other questions? Yeah.
What's a ballpark?
Ballpark. You got it. So our ballpark is 110 to 125,000. That includes our agency fees, surrogate compensation, which is 45,000 for first-time surrogates, 55 for experienced carriers. Our agency fee is 5,000 is upfront when you sign on. The additional 25 is once you're actually matched. The legal fees are kind of rolled into that number as well. We usually see the legal land somewhere between 7,000 to 8,000. That's for your attorney, their attorney, and the pre-birth order as well. And that also leaves some wiggle room for insurance because I'm sure as you've learned this weekend, insurance is a huge variable. Life insurance, health insurance, and lost wages, additional compensations. Yeah?
If I have my own lawyer,
yeah,
and if I have my embryos already created, obviously the price goes down.
So if you have your own lawyer, absolutely. So the number that I give you is not clinic inclusive. So we don't know the rates on the clinic because every clinic is different, depending on how you're creating them, how many embryos, fresh donor, frozen eggs, all of those things can be a different cost. So that 110 to 125 is really for the surrogacy process itself, not the clinic side of things.
Is there anybody that you work here closely with?
So we work closely with a lot of clinics, honestly. There is a clinic in Vermont, which proximity is actually very close to us. But also we've been working together for the entire 9 years that we've been in business. We've worked very closely with them. We also work very closely with New England Fertility Institute, Yale Fertility as well. But we can work with, we've worked with at least 20 different clinics. Anything else? Yes.
I've heard some agencies say that, oh, we can match you with a surrogate within a month or two. Is that a major red flag to you?
It is to me, because what I've seen across the board from reputable organizations that have been in business for a long time is that everyone's facing 12 months at this point. Even with heavier recruiting and bringing on more people, it might be a newer organization that has just started and maybe gotten a couple of surrogates ready to go, but not a lot of intended parents. 2-minute warning. Okay. And yeah, so to me that is a little bit of a flag, and I would definitely do a little bit of a deep dive into that to see why they have surrogates. Yes.
I know some surrogacy groups want you to have your embryos ready before they'll let you join the list. Others will let you join the list because it's long and you need to make the embryos while you're waiting. Where do you guys fall on that?
Because there's a long wait time, we're okay with signing you on. That's also why we dropped our rate to $5,000 to sign on, so that you can afford to sign on, create your embryos, and then be on that wait list, because we don't need to add another 4 or 5 months to your already long time waits. So, bubbles. This is very important. Whenever you're stressed, they tell you to take a long, deep breath and a slow exhale. Okay? So what do you do when you blow bubbles?
Long, deep breath,
Slow exhale, right? And this is just a way to decompress, because this process is going to be stressful, and everything you've learned in the all day has just got you at the top level, and if there's a lot of stress, and there needs to be more decompression. And that's where the bubbles come in, because they also just make it fun. So you take a deep breath, let it out, and you blow your bubbles. Ready? Let's do this. Let's practice, okay? I can see performance, guys. Ready? Doesn't it feel good? It does. Even in my office, we have bubble breaks. Because sometimes, something comes through that's really super stressful, and we have to process it, and we work through it with you. And you may hear me say that we're going to take a bubble break in a conversation, because if it's hard, we need to take a minute and we need to breathe instead of just responding and reacting. Because this process is going to be challenging along the way. Even the perfect process always will have its challenges. So just remember to take a deep breath, slow exhale, keep your bubbles available.
Thank you.
Because it's important. And I'll always have more bubbles, so if you need more, you just let me know. And I'm Jess from Vermont Surrogacy, and I'm happy to give you my card if you need it. You can also, of course, find us online, and all of our info is literally plastered everywhere, men having babies. So, yeah, I really hope this is a really exceptional journey for all of you, and however it starts and however it happens.
Thank you.
But definitely let us know if you have a question.